So the answer here is, because they can't make everybody else appealing, is to get rid of or demand the retreat of the one appealing person. The answer is, persuade us. And if you don't think you can persuade us with your candidate establishment, of which Ann and Laura are part of, how in God's name do you think you're going to convince everyone else? Sarah Palin supporters are Tea Party people, regular basic stakeholders in this country. You look at that footage from C-SPAN and CNN and everybody else who was there on site. You look at that crowd. Those are the people. And if you don't think Tea Party conservative Republicans will vote for your guy, if he's that weak, how in God's... and he's the electable one? This should be considered a welcome challenge to someone who's in politics to win votes. You notice Mitt Romney now is talking to you. He wasn't talking to you before. He was the Princess Diana here. He was like hidden away in a car driving fast. Now suddenly he's got 59 points as opposed to 58 or 60. Is that the, what is that thing? Oh, the chat room's open. I forgot to mention that an hour ago over at TammyBruce.com. Is that the feng shui of politics, where your point book can't be landing on even numbers? You got to have the odd numbers. Maybe I don't know. If he says he's into feng shui, maybe it'll be interesting. Bring out a lava lamp. His 3-point plan, his 7-point plan, his 59-point plan. I mean, come on, people. I mean, what is this? They're afraid that, they want you to calm down so that you'll remember where your barf bag is to go get it, to make sure that the next Republican candidate won't be elected and Obama will be reelected. Because God forbid, should you be enthusiastic and actually have passion and a commitment to someone who has been vetted, who has a result, who has a history of delivering, and we know everything about her except, frankly, the color of her lingerie. I'm surprised they haven't found that out yet. Cheezo freaking pizzo, guys.
Sarah Palin, conservatives like me, for her enemies.
Let's go back here.
I got sick of it with Newt Gingrich, too. You know, fish are cut bait here because you are ginning up this group of Americans who will not even consider anyone else. You know, we used to all love Sarah Palin, conservatives like me.
We used to all love
her enemies. I'm starting to dislike her because of her fans.
Well, there you go.
And she does get things wrong. She wouldn't have to. I think she's bright, but she doesn't. Her good points do not seem to be in the direction of running for president. And I sort of wish that, just like Newt Gingrich, she'd just go ahead and run so we can get this over with.
And Chris Christie, I know you like him a lot, and some other folks who haven't gotten into this race. But given how bad things are in the country right now, I mean, the polls that we just referenced previous segment, 70% plus of the country thinking we're on the wrong track.
Yes.
Consumer confidence at an all-time low. Obama's in the toilet with his numbers. We need these people who are smart to be in this race, and I actually think it's borderline irresponsible.
Yes.
If you can win the presidency and take these people down, you've got to get in the race.
So let's see. We've had 4 minutes of them talking about how Sarah Palin's a loser, effectively, and how her role is to be a cheerleader. But now it's borderline irresponsible to not run if you think you can win. But then the train has left the station, so I'm not sure. Is Chris Christie going to run after the train? Is the train going to back up for him? So let's see here. The train's in the station for everyone except Palin. But it's borderline irresponsible to not run if you think you can win. I'm confused about that. But remember, they have favorites, and it's not Palin. And this is the weakness of, and look, things said with authority. Can it be irritating that Ann says these things like she's the decider? She's not. Don't forget that. You are. You are. Hey, having a microphone and being on television is very influential. There is a statement about importance when you have a microphone in front of you. It's your job as the viewer and the listener, whether it's this show or any other show, to sort out what works for you and what doesn't. Just because I'm on the radio, and because Ann is and Laura is, and they're on, somebody's chosen them to be on TV because, look, we've had experiences and backgrounds that lend a certain particular point of view that's valuable. I believe that, absolutely. But so do you. So do you. Remember what they're doing on this. They're trying to persuade you about something. They're not just chatting over some coffee. Their job is to persuade, like my job is to persuade. I have an interest in what you think. I, though, at the same time, know that and want you to judge what I say, to leave out what doesn't work for you. I want you to realize my background, work that into the nature of what I tell you. You need to do it also with people who, and look, we're in front of microphones. We're here for a reason, because we believe what we have to say is important. It doesn't mean necessarily that it always is. You are the end result. This is a battle for you. My interest, and I believe, frankly, I don't need to go through all the pretzelness. I don't need to twist myself around to get you. You won't hear me talking for 3 minutes about one thing and then directly contradict what it was I just said.
Yes, I don't like people like Jeb Bush. I mean, get in the race.
Oh, there's Jeb.
If you can beat him, get in the race.
I would follow up with that by saying...
Oh, so now it's not too late for Jeb Bush.
Because there is an incorrect statement that is often made by many conservatives out there. Yes, it's true that liberals will accuse some Republicans of being unelectable just because they don't want to face those Republicans. But that doesn't mean there's no such thing as unelectable. And similarly, yes, it's true that liberals will call even smart conservatives stupid. That doesn't mean when a liberal calls you stupid, it proves you're smart. You have to do something else to prove you're smart. There is such a thing as electable, and Republicans and conservatives ought to be focused on that like a laser beam, because I agree Obama has a glass jar, and we've got to get this guy out if we want to turn the country around.
Yeah, her last comment, of course, is accurate, and we've seen their point of view about electable. I'm sorry, who's the president of the United States? Oh, yeah, Barack Hussein Obama. Yeah, the theory about electability got you the liberal Bush family, the attempt to dismantle the Reagan legacy, and Barack Hussein Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and Harry Reid. That is the legacy of the approach of the old Europe of the Republican Party. These are women who know the condition we're in, and they know it's not because of Tea Party. They know it's not because of Sarah Palin. They know it's not because of Allen West. They know it's not because of Rand Paul. It's because of decades of electability. And it has destroyed this country economically and culturally. So we can, look, I look back when I was on the left realizing things that I was doing was adding to the problem. Finally having the courage after experience, building up to it, finally having the courage to get out and to say, okay, this was a mistake. Ann is my age. By the time you're our age, you either get it or you don't. And it is just disturbing to see something that, is, you might not think Sarah Palin's the answer, but you have to recognize and agree that the electability next in line idea has not worked out real well. And getting to the Ann comment, and this is, I think, a mistake, and it's unfortunate that she's beginning to not like Sarah Palin because of her supporters. I'll remind Ann and Laura that I and others, we have gone to bat for both of them when they've been under attack. And we have faced the same kind of rebukes, but for supporting Ann and Laura when others wouldn't. And it's unfortunate that Ann feels the need to be put off by people who feel that someone deserves a defense, someone who has been under extraordinary fire. Neither Ann or Laura said anything during Tucson when fellow conservatives, Tea Partiers, and Sarah Palin were being accused of murder. The entire system was silent. That tells you everything you need to know about where people stand. And that's a choice also, whatever. But those people that Ann says that she is, maybe she's figuring there's such desperation, she figures she can, a few of you won't buy the books or suddenly there'll be more of her books in the library or, whatever you're going to do. But I respect that this is what she does. She gives commentary. She's going to tell you what she's going to tell you for whatever reasons. You got to hand her that. But I would suggest, as someone who has watched and has supported both of them, and you notice Laura's kind of facilitating the Coulter commentary and laughing in the appropriate places. And look, it's television and there's segments and whatever. But I think that going after and saying it's her supporters now is why she's not liking Sarah Palin is a cheap shot and unfortunate. And it's the very same people who have learned through supporting people like Laura and Ann that conservatives are worthy of defense, especially women. That they're worthy of defense and a passionate, engaged one. And don't let anybody, because now the new meme is, after this, now everybody's getting permission to call Sarah Palin supporters cultists. Well, again, it's pathetic that they've never seen it. They don't know how to interpret enthusiasm and a commitment to a candidate. And whoever is going to win the White House is going to need that commitment from the base. They're going to need it. And if their candidates, whoever their favorites are, can't survive Sarah Palin, how in God's name do they think they're going to survive Barack Obama? How do they think it's going to happen? And if their answer to get their favorites elected are to say one thing 2 minutes ago and then another thing entirely now, well, it tells you about that person's assessments. Now, look, I'm not always right. I'm right most of the time. You might not like how I get to where I'm right. You certainly won't like everything I have to say. But it goes down to the old failed policy and fear of, it's a strange fear on the conservative Christian side I've seen, of enthusiasm. I don't know, as a person who lives in L.A., and look, Ann is a New York, L.A. person, and I'm not quite sure where this fear is of enthusiasm, but I think they're less afraid of it than they realize that, gosh, they've been going after the wrong target. Sarah Palin is bolstered and is made possible due to what you want as Tea Party. That's why, for the first time ever, the political machine, certainly the Democratic machine, and now possibly parts of the Republican machine, are demonizing an entire swath of the American people. So I'll say again, if you think that Sarah Palin's danger is that she's creating people who aren't going to vote for anybody else, why don't you work on getting somebody else to appeal to us? Why don't you work on getting Mitt Romney to admit the failure of Romney Care? Why don't you get him to apologize for that? Well, we'll find out tonight about Rick Perry. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Can't wait for that one. Yeah. I don't know. We're going to need a candelabra on the stage tonight. That's going to be fabulous. Why don't you start working on, as Palin supporters do, moving toward the positive, and if the person we support is under attack, believing that person deserves advocacy. Because that's all we do. And the sad thing again, the Republicans and conservatives aren't used to it. They're just not used to it, and they don't like it. You used to just get in line, you guys. You used to just get in line. Oh, yeah, Jeb Bush, get in. I want everybody to run. Everybody get in. You have to wonder. Again, if Sarah Palin is such a failure, then have her get in and eliminate the issue.